नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री श्री राधा वृंदावन चंद्र की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा। We continue to discuss chapter 8, अध्याय 8 का चर्चा हम जारी रखेंगे। We have completed the 20th shloka yesterday. So in the 20th shloka, Lord introduces us, gives us a glimpse of his spiritual abode. अपने सनातन धाम का किरु परिचय वो हमें कराते हैं। In the next shloka, 21st, which we are going to start with today, also he describes about his Sanatana Loka or Goloka. And before we do that, we have found till now, अभी तक हमने देखा कि how the restless mind can find peace and rest only at the lotus feet of Krishna. So the whole material world, in its business of running around, जो दौड़ के जिंदगी चल रहा है, शांति की खोज में है। दौड़ते हैं लेकिन शांति की खोज में है। पर भगवत गीता में हमें ये दर्शाया गया है कि परम शांति केवल भगवान श्री कृष्ण के चरण के शरण में जाने से मिलेगा। Only by surrendering onto the lotus feet of the Lord we can find real, eternal, everlasting peace. So in the material world, we are gaining all material comforts, having big vehicles. So we also know that even if you have a great vehicle, but if we won't go anywhere, we won't go anywhere unless we get into that vehicle. तो सारी सुविधा हो सकता है हमारे पास for doing worship, लेकिन अगर हम प्रारंभ नहीं करेंगे तो क्या फायदा। अगर मेरे पास हजारों रुपए हैं और मैं उसका उपयोग नहीं करूंगा तो उस 1000 रुपए का क्या फायदा हो गया। सो वी मे हैव अ ग्रेट व्हीकल, बहुत ही बढ़िया व्हीकल हो सकता है, लाइक द ह्यूमन बॉडी इज अ ग्रेट व्हीकल, बट इफ यू डोंट गेट इनटू इट वी विल नॉट, एंड वी आर नॉट स्टार्टिंग टू गो समवेयर, वी विल नॉट गो एनीवेयर। तो इस मानव शरीर का सदुपयोग करते हुए हमें हमारे सनातन जो डेस्टिनेशन है उसकी तरफ हमें जाना है। वी नीड टू प्रोसीड टुवर्ड्स आवर व्हाट वी कैन कॉल फाइनल डेस्टिनेशन। एंड नो मैटर व्हाट कंफर्ट्स आर देयर इन द ट्रेन कंपार्टमेंट, इफ इट इज नॉट गोइंग इन द राइट डायरेक्शन, इट इज अ फ्यूटाइल जर्नी। सो भाग दौड़ कर लिया, ऐशो आराम पा लिया, लेकिन जो ट्रेन हमारी जिंदगी का जो ट्रेन है, सारे ऐशो आराम होते हुए भी अगर वो गलत दिशा में चल रहा है तो अंत में हमें हमारा मंजिल हासिल नहीं होगा, तो मानव जन्म बेकार चला जाएगा। सो द वर्ल्ड इज अ मिजरेबल प्लेस, देयर इज नो डाउट अबाउट इट। ये जगत दुखालयम अशाश्वतम है। द सूनर वी एक्सेप्ट इट, द मोर विल बी इन पीस विथ आवरसेल्व्स and with the circumstances we face. But that does not mean that we have to be miserable. We are, अगर हम एक miserable place में हैं, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि हमें भी miserable बन जाना चाहिए। तो एक जगह, ऐसे जगह जहाँ पे शोक का वातावरण है, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि हमें भी शोक में होना है। But one good thing is when we accept this, what happens? Material life, even trying to get rid of misery is like trying to get rid of our own shadow. क्योंकि परिछाई बन के सारे दुख हमारे पीछे आ रहा है, सारा दुख क्या है? हमारे किए कर्म है। तो उससे हम पीछा छुड़ा नहीं पाएंगे। तो पीछा छुड़ाने की कोशिश करेंगे और ज्यादा एफर्ट डालेंगे उसके ऊपर। इट इज लाइक ट्राइंग टू गेट रिड ऑफ अवर शैडो। ओनली वे यू कैन गेट रिड ऑफ योर शैडो अपरेंटली इज बाय फेसिंग द लाइट, क्योंकि आपका शैडो पीछे चला जाएगा, आपको दिखाई नहीं देगा। सो द ओनली वे वी कैन forget our miseries, overcome our miseries, transcend our miseries is by turning towards the light of Krishna. Krishna Surya Sama and Maya hai Andhakar. So when I turn towards Krishna, the shadow goes behind me. So the miseries are put behind me and I am in an enlightened state. So BG is Bhagavad Gita is optimistic about what matters the most. So the most important thing is being stressed in Bhagavad Gita. Although it gives us opportunities to improve in all fields, in all ways, in all manner, हर तरीके का सॉल्यूशन कृष्ण भगवान ने भगवद गीता में दिया है. तो if you cannot do top class solution, then go for the next best solution. That you cannot do, then go for this. So very practically telling us that yes, for one single problem there are many solutions at different levels. At what level you want the solution? Do you want a complete solution? Do you want a partial solution? Do you want a okay solution? Krishna is ready to give us all kinds of means and ways of getting the solution. So at this point, we will go ahead with shloka number 21, which further describes Goloka Vrindavana. Avyaktoksharayito uktas tamahu paramam gatim yam prapyani nivartante tadhama paramam mama. So further description of Goloka, the Param Loka, transcendental Loka, Vaikunta. Previous shloka, what it was? Parastasmattu bhavo anyu avyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. So what was told? So parastasmat, so there is a world which is beyond this world. Avyakta avyaktat sanatana, it is unmanifest to us. It is created by the unmanifest Lord. And it is sanatana, it is everlasting. So even when the sarveshu bhuteshu, when all material things get destroyed, nashyatsu, what happens to that loka? Na vinashyati. So that is a sanatana loka. Further here it is said avyakta akshara iti uktas. So it is first of all unmanifested to us right now. Akshara, it is infallible. Then paramam gatim, it is the ultimate destination, final destination for the jiva to get the final resting peace. Resting peace means getting into the mold of our constitutional position as servant of Krishna. Then when I get this loka, yam prapya na nivartante. So what happens? He never comes back. What is this loka? Tad dhama paramam mama. This dhama paramam mama. It is mine. It is paramam. So this dhama is mine. Krishna is telling. So Krishna is giving us a glimpse of his Goloka. He's giving us, he's luring us, saying that this is where you have to come. This is where you belong. So that supreme abode is called unmanifested, infallible, avyakta, akshara, supreme destination, paramam gatim. When one goes there, yam prapya, he never comes back. Na nivartante, वापिस नहीं आएगा. That is my supreme abode. Tad dham paramam mama. Ye dham, Golok dham, ye param dham hai, ye mera dham hai. So that's how Krishna is describing his loka. The supreme abode of the personality of Godhead, Krishna is described in Brahma Samhita as Chintamani Dhama. Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha लक्षावृतेषु सुरभिरभिपालयन्तम् लक्ष्मी सहस्रशत संभ्रम सेव्यमानम् गोविंदमादि पुरुषम तमहम भजामि. The first description of Goloka is given in Brahma Samhita. It's a place where all desires are fulfilled. सारी इच्छाएं पूर्ण हो जाए. Krishna is capable of fulfilling all desires, including material desires. But when somebody goes to Tadhama Paramam Mama, he will not desire anything material because he has got something which is more higher. He has reveled in an higher taste. So उनका रुचि का स्टैंडर्ड बढ़ चुका होगा. They will not hanker for material things. So Goloka Vrindavan is full of palaces made of touchstone. Chintamani Prakara Sadmasu. So it is opulent palaces are there in Goloka Vrindavan. There are also trees which are called desire trees. Lakshavruteshu Surabhi. What is there? Chintamani Prakara Sadmashu Kalpa Vriksha. Lakshavruteshu. Millions and millions of desire trees are there in Goloka that supply any type of eatable upon demand. जो चाहे एक इस पेड़ से हम पा सकते हैं. आम के पेड़ से आम, सेब के पेड़ से सेब, लेकिन डिजायर ट्री से कल्प वृक्ष से आपको जो खाने को चाहिए वो पेड़ दे देगा. Then there are cows known as Surabhi's cows. Surabhir Abhipalayantam, and he is taking care of them, which supply a limitless supply of milk. Surabhi गाय का स्पेशलिटी क्या है? जितना चाहे दूध आप ले सकते हो. एक very good cow by Indian standards can give up to 4 liters at a time, 4 to 5 liters. But here is Surabhi cow. जितना चाहे आप ले लेना, बाल्टी भर लेना, आपका टैंकी भर लेना, आपको दूध देता रहेगा. In this abode, the Lord is served by hundreds and thousands of goddess of Lakshmi. Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam. So millions of Lakshmi are there standing in a queue to serve Krishna in Goloka Vrindavana. They're all Adi Lakshmis, that is the Gopis and Radharani. He is called Govinda, the primal Lord, Govinda, Adi Purusha. Then he is also the cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karanam. The Lord is accustomed to blow his flute, Venu Pananta. This is the opening verse of our daily Darshanarti. So, हाथ में Venu. His transcendental form is the most attractive in all the worlds. So, he is Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya. लाखों करोड़ों कंदर्प कामदेव की सुंदरता एक जगह मिल जाए, उससे भी सुंदर भगवान श्री कृष्ण है. He is so attractive that his beauty excels the thousands of cupids. He wears saffron cloth, a garland around his neck, and a peacock feather in his hair. So pitambara dhara. Then he is having a divine garland around his hair, around his neck, and a peacock feather in his hair. Barha vatamsam. तो ये जाएगा एक मोर का पंख उनके बालों को सजा रहा है. In the Gita, Lord Krishna gives only a small hint of his personal abode. तो गीता में ये दोनों श्लोक में हमें एक किरु परिचय मिल गया. Goloka Vrindavan is the supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. तो भगवान की लोक में, वैकुंठा लोक में अनेक वैकुंठ लोक है, उसमें से अत्युन्नतम लोक है गोलोक वृंदावन, जहां भगवान श्री कृष्ण अपने सहचर्यों के साथ रहते हैं. So there is nothing superior to the abode of supreme Godhead. Paramam mama तद्धाम परम परमाम गतिम. तो उससे ऊंचा जगह, more pure place, there is nothing else. And it's the ultimate destination, Paramangata. When one attains to it, he never returns to the material world. Yad gatva na nivartante. Goloka Vrindavan जो पाएगा वो वापिस कभी नहीं आएगा. And Krishna himself, or Krishna supreme abode, and Krishna himself are non-different. तो स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में एवरीथिंग इज एब्सोल्यूट। तो कृष्णा और कृष्णा के धाम, उनमें कोई अंतर नहीं है। कृष्णा नेम, फेम, प्लेस, स्टेइंग प्लेस, एंड कृष्णा हिमसेल्फ दे आर नॉट डिफरेंट, एक ही है। तो वृंदावन धाम भगवान श्री कृष्ण का स्वरूप है बोल सकते हैं, या भगवान श्री कृष्णा ही है हम बोल सकते हैं। सो इट्स एन एक्सपेंशन ऑफ लॉर्ड बलरामा's बॉडी. It is owned by Srimati Radharani. She is the queen of Vrindavana, Vrindavaneshwari. But the matters here are run by Tulsi Maharani. She is the Senapati, Adhipati. So Radharani has given the charge, executive powers to Tulsi Maharani. Ownership, proprietorship belongs to Radharani. Krishna is the king of this Goloka Vrindavana, but is ruled over by Radharani and the devotees, who are basically gopis and gopas. On this earth, Vrindavana, 90 miles southeast of Delhi, is a replica of the supreme Goloka Vrindavana. So जिस वृंदावन धाम आप पधारते हैं और कुछ लोग इस जो वृंदावन धाम में रहते हैं उसमें और परम धाम गोलोक वृंदावन में कोई अंतर नहीं है. See how fortunate we are all, and how we have become this fortunate? Is it by our abilities? No. It is by simply the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada, whom we have taken shelter of. When Krishna descended on this earth, he sported on that particular tract of land known as Vrindavana in the district of Mathura. तो देखिए भगवान का embassy, the replica of his Goloka Dham, address सब कुछ दिया हुआ है. So when Prabhupada is writing a purport, so it means that it's an extension of Krishna's explanation of the shloka. तो भगवान कौन है, उनके साथ कौन है, उनका गोलोक कैसा है, और वहां पे जाने के बाद क्या होगा, everything is being given very, very objectively. That's why we read just previously something about objectivity we learned. The Bhagavad Gita is optimistic about what matters the most. तो जो परम लक्ष्य होना चाहिए वो दर्शाता है हमें श्री भगवद गीता. So we'll move ahead to the next shloka. So in the next shloka, it is being mentioned how the Lord can be attained only by unalloyed devotion. Purushassa parapartha bhaktya labhyastvananyaya yasyantasthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. See how the Lord is introducing us to many concepts of spiritual life and introducing himself and everything about him. So what does this sloka says? The supreme personality of Godhead, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Purusha, who is greater than all, Sapara, is greater than all other living entities. Hey Partha, Arjuna, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Bhaktya labhyastvananyaya, ananyaya, not mixed with anything. Ananyaya, unalloyed bhakti. That means pure bhakti. Then, although he is present in his abode, yasya antasthani, he is present in Golok Vrindavan Krishna, he is all pervading. So, yena sarvamidam tatam. तो हर जगह भी कृष्णा है, लेकिन वो गोलोक वृंदावन में भी है. And everything is situated within him. Yasya antastani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatham. So, in the purport, Prabhupada begins to explain to us. It is stated here clearly that the supreme destination from which there is no return is the abode of Krishna. जिस जगह पे आप जाके वापस न आना पड़े वो गोलोक वृंदावन ही है. वरना हमने कल पढ़ा ब्रह्मलोक भी जाएंगे. If you are not going to become fully Krishna conscious, in which case we become fully Krishna conscious, we will get a chance to go into the spiritual world. But if we don't become, then Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punar Avartina Arjuna. will not come back into this material world, especially the earthly planets. So Brahma Samhita describes the supreme abode as Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. तो यहाँ पे जो आस्वादन है रस का वो आनंद चिन्मय. It is truth, eternal truth, full of knowledge and bliss. That enjoyment. A place where everything is full of spiritual bliss. आनंदमय अभ्यासात जीव क्यों है? क्योंकि वो is a citizen of Goloka Vrindavan, जहाँ पे आनंद चिन्मय रसा प्रतिभाविताई. It is always overtly manifest in Goloka. This kind of rasa. Whatever variegatedness is manifest, there is all of the quality of spiritual bliss. तो वहाँ पे जो भी रस है आध्यात्मिक रस है. As far as this material world is concerned, although the Lord is always in his supreme abode, he is nonetheless all pervading by his material energy. Ena sarva tatam idham. So by his spiritual and material energies, he is present everywhere. तो अपने अंतरंग शक्ति बहिरंग शक्ति के माध्यम से भगवान श्री कृष्ण हर जगह है. So that's why we can say God is everywhere. So both in the material and spiritual universes. केवल आध्यात्मिक लोक में भगवान नहीं है, यहाँ पे भौतिक जगत में भी है. ये न सर्वम इदम ततम. हर कण कण में, हर कोने कोने में भगवान श्री कृष्ण है. इसी विश्वास से जब प्रहलाद को हिरण्यकशिपु ने पूछा, आपका भगवान ये इस सभा में है क्या? है उस कोने में है क्या? इस कोने में है क्या? इस खम्भ में, उस खम्भ में, हर जगह के लिए वो हाँ बोल रहा है. तो इतना क्रोधित हो गया, उसने अपने ही सभा का जो खंभा है उसको तोड़ने लगा. फिर उसमें से भगवान नरसिंहदेव प्रकट हो गए. So further discussing, Yasyantastani means that everything is situated, sustained by him. So he is the Data Mata Pitamaha, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. His mother, is the father, is the maintainer, guardian, everything. And how is he maintaining this? Yasya Antasthani. It means everything is sustained by him, everything is resting upon him. He is the ashraya of everything, whether it be spiritual or material energy. तो भौतिक शक्ति भी, बहिरंग शक्ति भी भगवान का ही शक्ति है. तो किसका शक्ति है? कृष्ण का ही शक्ति है. It's clearly stated here that only by bhakti or devotional service one can enter into Vaikuntha spiritual planets. Bhakti, वो भी क्या? अनन्यया, वो भक्ति unalloyed devotion के साथ ही हम वो गोलोक वृंदावन वैकुंठ लोक प्राप्त कर सकते हैं. In all the Vaikunthas, there is only one supreme God, Krishna, who has expanded himself into millions and millions of plenary expansions. These plenary expansions are four-armed. They preside over the innumerable spiritual planets. They are known by a variety of names. So there are many Vaikuntha lokas. See now, we are getting further higher concepts. हमने सोचा एक ही वैकुंठ लोक है, अनेक वैकुंठ लोक है आध्यात्मिक जगत में, और परम वैकुंठ लोक गोलोक वृंदावन धाम है. एंड हर लोक में एक फॉर्म ऑफ विष्णु इज देयर, डिफरेंट फॉर्म ऑफ विष्णु इज देयर. तो उन जिनका नाम पुरुषोत्तम, त्रिविक्रम, केशव, माधव, अनिरुद्ध, ऋषिकेश, संकर्षण, प्रद्युम्न, श्रीधर, वासुदेव, दामोदर, जनार्दन, नारायण, वामन, पद्मनाभ इत्यादि इत्यादि इत्यादि. ऐसे अनेक विष्णु का स्वरूप है. हर एक वैकुंठ लोक में एक विष्णु का स्वरूप है. So these expansions are likened onto the leaves of a tree. जैसे कि एक पेड़ के पत्ते, and the main tree is likened to Krishna. लेकिन पेड़ का जो मूल है, जड़ और जो आधार है, स्टेम है, द ट्रंक है, वो भगवान श्री कृष्णा है, जिसके माध्यम से there are many other leaves like Vishnu's coming. So Krishna is dwelling in Goloka Vrindavana, his supreme abode, systematically conducts all affairs of both universes. तो आध्यात्मिक जगत का, भौतिक जगत का किस कार्य किसके देख रेख में हो रहा है? It's happening under the guidance and overseeing of Lord Shri Krishna, Anumanta Upadrushta, is the witness of everything and is the master of everything. And it is being performed or conducted without a flaw by the power of his all pervasiveness. तो अपने शक्ति के द्वारा, अंतरंग बहिरंग शक्ति के द्वारा वो भौतिक जगत और आध्यात्मिक जगत का कार्य चला रहे. So at this note we will move on to the next shloka. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Yatra kale tvanavrittim आवृत्तिं चैव योगिनः प्रयातयन्ति तं कालं वक्ष्यामि भरतर्षभा. Very interesting what Krishna is telling here now. वो the best of Bharatas, Bharatarshava, हे भरत श्रेष्ठ, I shall now explain to you. अब मैं आपको बताऊंगा the different times at which the passing away from this world one does or does not come back. तो टाइमिंग के हिसाब से if somebody passes away at this time, then he will get this loka. If he passes away at a different time, then he gets a different loka. So even the time of passing is so important because it determines where we will go. Of course, the status of mind at the end of life is the main thing that decides where we will go. So yatra kale tanavrittim avrittim chaiva yoginah prayatayanti tam kalam vakshami bharatarshava. So the unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Lord who are totally surrendered souls. So उनका क्या हाल है? Do not care where they leave their bodies or by what method. उनको कोई परवाह नहीं है किस समय मृत्यु को पाना है, कहाँ पे पाना है. They are not worried because they are always Krishna conscious. So they know at the end of life they will easily think about Krishna. They leave everything in Krishna's hand and so easily, happily return to Godhead. तो सब कुछ भगवान के हाथों में छोड़ देते हैं क्योंकि उन्हें पता है भगवान हमेशा उनका उद्धार करने के लिए ही कुछ करेगा. उनका हानि करने का वो कभी भी चेष्टा भी नहीं करेगा. Although it looks like the devotees are getting punished left and right, वो भी सफर कर रहे हैं, but actually Krishna is allowing some karma to unfold in their lives for their own purification. So we must not put others down when they're going through some crisis, because वो गुण कर्म काल इसके प्रभाव से, इसके जो फोर्स है इसके प्रभाव से वो कुछ सिचुएशन में फंसे हुए हैं. And at this time we must be compassionate to them, knowing that in the end everybody is finally children of Krishna and devotees of Krishna. So if the yogi is perfect, he can select the time and place for living this material world. तो योगी जो है उसको सही समय में इस जगत को पार करना है, वरना गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. But if he is not so perfect, then he has to live at nature's will. और अगर वो सिद्धि प्राप्त नहीं कर चुके हैं तो जैसे नैसर्गिक नियम है उसके हिसाब से उनको दूसरा जन्म मिलेगा. The most suitable time to leave the body and not return is being explained by the Lord in these verses. तो आगे भगवान हमें समझाएंगे कैसे कौन से समय में जाने से कौन सा मतलब रिजल्ट हमें मिलेगा. So according to Acharya Baladev Vidyabhushan, the Sanskrit word kala used herein refers to the presiding deity of time. तो काला जब जिस श्लोक में जो दिया गया है तम कालम, we're talking of a time, a particular time, presiding deity of time. Hare Krishna. So what we have learned so far, life may be full of problems, but life is not a problem. तो दुखालयम अशाश्वतम, जीवन संघर्षमय है कलयुग में, वैसे भौतिक जगत में दूसरी बात, तो संघर्ष तो है ही. तो जीवन में इतने सारे उलझने आएंगे, लेकिन जो लाइफ है, लाइफ पर से इज नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम. क्यों? बिकॉज ये जो मानव जो जीव हमें मिला है, द लाइफ ऑफ अ ह्यूमन बॉडी वी हैव गॉट, सो दैट कैन बी द व्हीकल which can take us to our final destination, the highest destination. So life itself is not a problem. It may be although full of problems. So our focus reveals our purpose. That's what we are learning in this few shlokas from past few shlokas. जिस पे मैं अपना मन केंद्रीकृत करूंगा, वही मेरा नेक्स्ट डेस्टिनेशन डिसाइड करेगा. So what I focus on is what I get. So if you know about the very famous book series, The Secret, this is what it says: what you think of, you become. What you are surrounded by, you become. What you are projecting yourself, you become. So our focus reveals our purpose, and our purpose has to be purposeful. It can be made meaningful when the charge is given to a guru to take charge of us by taking diksha from this guru, from a pure devotee. So trying to get so misery in the material world is to be seen as confirmation of scripture. तो जब हम भौतिक जगत में ऐसे जो संघर्ष देखते हैं, मिजरी देखते हैं, तो हमें एक्चुअली अंडरस्टैंड करना है कि ये तो कंफर्मेशन ऑफ स्क्रिप्चर है. मतलब शास्त्र में जो दिया गया है, ये उसका मतलब द परफेक्ट एग्जाम्पल है. वरना हम शास्त्र में पढ़ रहे हैं दुखान अशाश्वतम, और यहाँ पे कोई दुख नहीं मिल रहा है, कोई संघर्ष नहीं है, तो वो तो गलत हो जाएगा. तो when I see suffering, then I must first of all understand this is actually what Shastra says. So it's a confirmation of what Shastra reveals to us. We'll move ahead further we'll discuss one more shloka. We have time to squeeze in that shloka here. Agnirjyotirahashluk shukla shanmasa uttarayanam tatra prayata gachanti brahma vido janaha. So now Krishna is telling at what conditions and times when the life passes away, the jiva will not come back. Tat prayata gachanti brahma vido janaha. So what is Krishna telling here? Those who know the supreme Brahman, the brahma vido जो जानते हैं, क्या जानते हैं? ब्रह्मा. पास अवे फ्रॉम द वर्ल्ड, तो वो इस लोक से निर्वाण कैसे पाते हैं? ड्यूरिंग द इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ फायरी गॉड. तो अग्नि साक्षी बना के अग्नि का सामने, तो दैट इज अग्नेर इन द लाइट, ज्योतिर प्रकाश समय, जब प्रकाश है तब वो चल बसते हैं. At an auspicious moment. So it is at a time when everything is tailor-made to go back to Goloka or to the higher planets. Then during the influence of fairy god in the light and auspicious moment, during the fortnight of the moon, so Shanmasa, and the 6 months when the sun travels in the north, Shanmasa Uttarayanam. तो जब संक्रांति आएगा, तो दक्षिणायन मुख जो सूर्य चल रहा है, वहां से वो उत्तरायण दिशा में चलेगा. इसलिए भीष्मदेव संक्रांति के उपेक्षा करते हुए अपने जीव को उन्होंने होल्ड करके रखे थे. He was holding on to his life. And then when Sankranti neared, Krishna took this opportunity also to give his Bhishma is a Mahajana, he is a devotee, he is one of the greatest devotees of the Lord. He was a victim of some circumstantial things, and by taking up wrong vows, got caught up with wrong people, and he had to do the wrong thing, because of which he was rewarded with a very painful death. But Krishna made up for it for his devotee, because he stood in front of him when was leaving his body. So जो कृष्णा के बारे में सोचते हैं वो कृष्ण लोग जाते हैं. जो कृष्णा सामने ही है, आप कृष्णा को देख रहे हो, तो आप कहाँ जाएंगे? गोलोक भगवान के पास ही हम जाएंगे. So these are tat prayata gachanti. So these 6 months from Shankranti onwards, and then when they pass away during the day or during the presence of fire, in the morning when there is good light. So these are the conditions. Shuklaha, white. So auspiciousness is being invoked here. And fire, light, day and moon are mentioned. It is to be understood that over all of them, there are various presiding deities who make arrangements for the passage of the soul. तो हमारे सनातन धर्म में अग्नि देते हैं हम मृत शरीर को, दफनाते नहीं है, because that itself is, it's surrounded by fire and fire is pure, fire is purifying. At the time of death, the jiva sets forth on the path to a new life. If one leaves the body at the time designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain impersonal Brahma Jyoti. तो इस कंडीशंस में जब कोई अपना दम तोड़ता है, तो what he will get? Prayata gachanti. So one who he passes away, he gets the Brahman, that is the impersonal Brahman space he gets. Mystics who are advanced in yoga practice can arrange the time and place to leave the body. जैसे भीष्म इच्छामरण का उनका वरदान था. So then others who have no control, if by accident they leave at an auspicious moment, then also they will not return to the cycle of birth and death. So whether we touch fire accidentally or knowingly, fire is going to burn our hand. Similarly, whether I know or I don't know, but if I pass away at an auspicious time, then I will have credits related to that auspicity, mostly which is going to be never return to the cycle of birth and death. However, for the pure devotee in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at an auspicious moment or inauspicious moment, by accident, by arrangement. उसकी कोई चिंता नहीं है भक्त को, क्योंकि वो जानता है कि कृष्ण के शरण में है हम, तो कृष्ण ऑटोमेटिकली हमारा देखभाल कर लेगा, उसकी मुझे चिंता करने की जरूरत नहीं है. दिस इज दी गोप्तुप्त वारणम, firm conviction that Krishna is my maintainer. So I don't have to worry about who is going to maintain me, how I am going to be maintained, and मेरे बुढ़ापे का सहारा कौन है, बुढ़ापे का लाठी कौन है. We don't have to, nobody has to worry about these things. So that's how this chapter reaches the point where now we get to know the different times of death and the results of that kind of a death, of that circumstances of death. So somebody asked me, I'll see if I can take this question. Why the names were given which indicate crookedness? For example, Duryodhana. Duryodhana का implied meaning है, is a wicked soldier, unreasonable soldier. ये implied meaning है. लेकिन actually दुर्योधना का मतलब क्या है? Actual meaning is one who is difficult to win over. दुर्योधना, जिस पे आप जीत नहीं सकते. So he is very stubborn. You cannot win over him. So, and he is very powerful. That is what Duryodhana means. But the implied meaning also is, this is very popular, one who is a wicked soldier or an unreasonable soldier. ठीक वैसे ही दुशासना का नाम, actual meaning, one who chastises the indisciplined. Implied meaning क्या है? One who is without discipline. तो दुशासना, शासना, दुशासना, कोई शासन नहीं है. दुशासना जो forcefully शासन करता है, who takes control. That is also